Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. So you may call or text every day now on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. I'm going to begin by saying, as always, our 3D Daily Divine Direction broadcast is brought to you by Earth's Finest Water, FijiWater.com. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast, we thank you for your support and your commitment as we continue to fulfill our commitment to God to address whatever topics you might like to discuss and whatever issues of life you find challenging or difficult to navigate. So I'm going to begin with a communication from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you want to begin dating online during this pandemic. However, you understand that there are a lot of unusual, and you said crazy people online. So first of all, I'm glad that you have the understanding that online dating can be extremely difficult. And the reason is because there's a lot of unusual people out there. But let me say this, even dating online while we're in the midst of a pandemic, trying to communicate with someone and establish what you might have in common, I'm still going to take you back to walking you through the dating process again, because this is real important. And I've said this previously, and I know that it's difficult because there are churches that are not open right now. We have reopened at New Life Christian Center with protocol. However, where you're located, your church is not open right now. You know, it does complicate things to do exactly what I said. However, I'm going to take you to another place right now. And that is, if you're communicating with someone, your first question has to be always, whether we're in the midst of a pandemic or not, your first question, if you're going to be successful in relationships, and this is the start of it, you have to find out what their relationship is with the Lord. You have to talk to them about what their relationship, their personal relationship is with the Lord. And you can begin that by asking them, first and foremost, ask them when they communicate with you online, do you attend church? You know, first, what's your relationship with the Lord? Secondly, do you attend church? And you're not in our area, so otherwise I would invite you to come and worship with us. But tune in at 10:45 a.m. And if you don't tune into our service, tune in to someone. But tune in and talk about what you're getting from the sermon. and then have a virtual lunch together. Let them stay where they are and let you stay where you are, and sit down and have FaceTime, video chat, whatever you're going to do, make lunch and sit and talk. That's a good way to get to know one another. And do that for 3 Sundays. You'll find out how committed they are to having that type of contact. You'll find out how committed they are to watching a sermon every Sunday. You'll find out what their relationship is with the Lord. Do that 3 times. Now, once we're able to move around again, ask them to invite you to their church. Or if they don't have a church home, invite them to your church. But we've been doing this thing all wrong, because if they have no relationship with the Lord, it's going to complicate the possibilities of having a successful relationship. And truth be told, you really shouldn't want to have a relationship with someone who has no relationship with the Lord. And the reason is because it's doomed from the start. How can 2 walk together unless they agree? So from the very beginning, there is a 99.9% chance of failure in that relationship if they have no relationship with the Lord, and they want no relationship with the Lord. See, when I say we must date with purpose, the purpose is to find out if this is someone that you're compatible with for possibly the rest of your lifetime. Listen, it might complicate things to have to do it online because we're not accustomed to doing it online. But after that, you've got to say to yourself, if we can't do it virtually, if we can't have, let me rephrase that, if we can't have a relationship based on communication verbally, based on communication virtually, then the chances of survival and thriving in a relationship are not very likely. Because everything else is going to cloud the relationship. Everything else is going to complicate the relationship from the outside forces if you don't focus on developing a relationship based on your relationship with the Lord, first and foremost. You got to have God in the midst of every relationship. That's how relationships sustain themselves, because there's going to be periods of time during a relationship that there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be, more excitement, passion, relaxation. There's going to be a lot of different ebbs and flows in a relationship. And you got to be able to survive those by the fact that you are committed to one purpose, and that is to love the Lord, to serve the Lord, to build a better quality of life, and to experience the fullness of God, and to maximize the fullness of God. Those are the things that we want to accomplish, or that we should want to accomplish long term, and that should be our focus every single day. And of course, I didn't say may not have said become the best version of yourself, but everyone knows that has to be our focus. I'm constantly preaching and teaching about that. I'm constantly communicating about that in the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, because God created us to be the best that we can be. God didn't create us to waste our gifts and our talents, to waste our lives doing things that have no significance to bringing Him His glory, because that's what we're living for. We're living to bring God His glory. God has to glorify us, that through us He may be glorified, just as He did His Son, Jesus Christ. You know, this whole life is based on living to bring God His glory. If we're not doing that, we'll never be fulfilled. We'll always be chasing an illusion of what we think will bring us joy and satisfaction. And the truth of the matter is, nothing is ever going to satisfy you without a relationship with the Lord. So when we know that, when we're trying to develop personal relationships, it has to be based on the same thought process of, will this relationship bring God His glory? You know, don't waste your time talking about what dates you're going to go on, what fun you're going to have, what trips you're going to have while you're online dating, until you determine a relationship with the Lord for both of you, and what your commitment is to the life that God has given you. So that's why I included asking about the 7-year plan. You know, I talk about that. If we weren't in a pandemic and you were going to church and then out to lunch, I would tell you the same thing. Ask them what their 7-year plan is. Ask them what their 14-year plan is. Ask them what their 21-year plan is. If they don't have a plan for 7 years, 14 years, 21 years, they don't have a plan for you either. And we've got to recognize how important that is in every aspect of our lives and our relationships. We have to be working towards something. And it can't just be, I want to wake up every day and find fun. That can't be a life goal. I'm going to wake up every day and I want everyone to notice me. That can't be a life goal. Life goals are building a great quality of life and a sustainable quality of life. Experiencing the fullness of God, not just particles of God, you know, those small little blessings. We've got to recognize how significant dating is, because we've all been dating in our lifetime, over the course of our lifetime, for the wrong reason. And, you know, I always like to ask that question, how's that working for you? You know, we've all had that experience. Didn't work out so well for us. We ended up choosing the wrong people for the wrong reasons, and it never resulted in us building a better quality of life until we got the right one, baby. So we've got to know that God has a plan for each of our lives, and it's of good and not of evil. So let's make certain that we're doing our part and living every day to create a better quality of life. And that will start with your relationships. It's okay to date online. People are doing that these days. That's a new method of dating. I get it. But let's make certain we're still dating for the right reason. And let's make certain we're dating for a purpose. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you over into our queue so that you can experience T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill. And if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a monthly discount on your T-Mobile bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest nationwide 5G provider at no extra charge. So I want to say to everyone, first of all, we are continuing to expand our daily Divine Direction broadcast in 3D. 3D is on Facebook Live. We're still on our app at New Life-Delaware. We are on our website at newlifeministriesinternational.com. We are Facebook Live. We are YouTube Live. And for whatever reason, yesterday and the day before, we had some problems with our Facebook platform. We also had some problems with our YouTube studio yesterday, and we didn't resolve the problem permanently, but we did resolve the problem temporarily. So I can see on the screen, the monitor, that we are broadcasting today. You know, there may be a moment or two where there's some pixels, but whatever the case may be, I'm thankful that you all continue tuning in to watch the broadcast every single day, and thank you for allowing us to be in your viewing environment. Just stay tuned as we continue. We'll be live every day, scheduling permitted, from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Monday through Friday. But these things occur, and I know every one of you who is either working from home or doing something that involves technology. You all have experienced glitches in technology because we've even seen it on major networks. The reality is that, contrary to popular belief, technology is still relatively new. And there are always going to be some of these challenges and interruptions until all these tech companies, these minds that are much smarter than mine, can figure out how to permanently keep all of the networks, all of the platforms functioning without glitches. But just know that we continue to try to present the best broadcast that we possibly can without any interruptions. Unfortunately, the last 2 days we've had some of those, but we have been live, and you can still view on Facebook Live. You can just tap on the logo that has been posted the last 2 days, and on YouTube, even though yesterday's broadcast went into 360 mode, and today we're back on in our normal broadcast, so you can continue to view the broadcast on YouTube Live. Just tap on the logos that you see, and you'll still be able to view them, because everything is archived on our app for 365 days, every broadcast that we do. And on YouTube, they're now archived forever. So we will continue working through these glitches and continue to expand our broadcast. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you want to know what you can do to begin building wealth for your children. You said that you've been watching the broadcast, you've heard me talk about wealth building, you've gone back and viewed some of the archives and listened, and to God be the glory. Thank you for being part of the broadcast. I will say this, for all of our listeners and viewers, this is real important. Let's start earlier doing things that we need to do to build wealth. And one of those things is, first of all, get your children a bank account. So I'm not talking about just on the app, although, on their apps at banks, although you can use those for monitoring accounts and checking your accounts. But however, get your children a bank account very early. Once you get their Social Security number, get them a bank account. You can get a bank account that you can place yourself on also. Savings, and as they begin working, you want to teach them how to write a check. Although we do a lot of things online now, you want to teach them how to write a check, because they're still going to have to write one at some point. There's some things that you're not going to be able to do electronically. Even though we can transfer money electronically. So I'll give a simple example. So every year we have a homeowners association fee and a trash fee that is part of our development. And every year you have to write a check, and to the maintenance corporation. You have to write for snow removal in our area. You have to write it for trash pickup in our area, recycling pickup. So that's a check that you have to write. We don't have the ability to do that on an app because we don't have an app for our development. We're not asking anyone for their routing information or checking, the checking account number. So we just simply write a check. You have to teach your children how to write a check. They need to know how to do that. They need to know how to go and make a deposit at the bank. They need to know how to navigate the use of the banking system. So you start there. And then very early on, you can attach a trading account to that account so that you can start investing in the stock market for your children very early on. Those two things are going to allow them to have an account for a significant period of time so that once they begin working, they get to high school and they start working at whatever age in your state you're able to work with working papers, they will be able to make a deposit in their bank account. They'll be able to function in the financial market. That's going to be real important. And it will start to build credit for them so that by the time they graduate from high school and prepare to go off to college, they know how to write a check without bouncing a check. You help them to understand that they don't want to use debit cards because there's going to be fees attached in many cases. You don't want them overdrafting, so you want to teach them that process so that they don't overdraft. These are all important aspects that are going to help them to begin to build their credit. And the stock market is something that they can participate in very early, which will allow them to start building wealth because the stocks will appreciate over time. There's a time value to money, and over time that will help them to establish their credit. Why is that so important? Because the next thing you're going to tell them is the next thing that helps to build wealth is owning real estate. Real estate, the reason it is titled real estate is because it becomes part of your real estate. So, meaning you're creating an estate value. And over time, that value continues to increase. So you're going to teach them about homeownership. But building credit is going to determine what their mortgage rate is going to be. And it's also going to have an impact on interest rates on credit cards, interest rate if they take a car loan. Their credit is going to have a direct correlation to their interest rate. And let me tell you the reason why. Because the higher the risk, the higher the rate. If you're a risk on a company getting their money back, your interest rates are going to be higher. Even if they give you financing, your interest rates are going to be higher. So there's a direct correlation to them building credit when they're younger, when they, starting to build their credit when they're younger. And you have to remember, if they have a bank account for a long period of time with one bank or two banks, they establish a relationship that when it's time for them to apply for a credit card, they can obtain a credit card. You want to teach them that they don't need a lot of credit cards. I only recommend, and this is not an advertisement for anyone, but I only recommend that people have 3 credit cards and no more. MasterCard, Visa, American Express. Those 3 cards. And use whichever one's going to give you points so that you can build up points towards airline tickets. There's all these things that we can do to build wealth and reduce our cost of living and building long-term wealth. So there's a direct correlation there. So then you want to teach them about real estate. And then the last thing you want to teach them about is entrepreneurship. And the reason is because even if they are working even if they graduate from college, they pursue a career, and that career gives them an income, they may want to invest in a business, or they may want to have a small business on the side, or real estate might be part of their business. So, for example, even if they went on from undergrad to medical school and eventually became a physician, they can still own the building that they practice in. So there's a lot of different components to creating success in life. And the more streams of revenue you create, the more opportunities you have to build wealth. So that's going to be real important. So I'm glad you asked this question. We're going to spend some more time talking about finance and entrepreneurship in the weeks ahead. We're going to prepare everyone for going into the new year because, we don't want anyone overspending during the holidays. All of that everything has to be done intentional to ensure that we continue building and maintaining a great sustainable quality of life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. If you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail store. They have everything a man could need. They have shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. And right now, if you order shirts from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com, you can purchase 3 high-quality cotton shirts for $99 at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. When the store is open, check their store hours online at thewhitecompany.com. If you are in New York, stop in at the retail store. They have everything that you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. If you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. So I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, tune in. We will keep you informed of the days that we are going to be on the air during the holiday season, the days that we'll be off the air during the holiday season. But we are going to be broadcasting even through the remainder of this year as we continue to expand the broadcast. Stay tuned in. Something that is said will bless your life. We're going to encourage you to tune in Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you are across the U.S. and wherever you are around the globe. Adjust your time, set a reminder, like our videos, make sure that you set a reminder so that you can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, and again on Sunday for the Sunday sermon. We go live at 10:45 a.m. If you're in our area, come and worship with us at New Life Christian Center. We are open with protocol at 400 Hillcrest Avenue at the corner of Hillcrest and Marsh Road. We're the brown brick building right on the corner. There's parking on Hillcrest. Service begins at 10 a.m. We invite you to come and experience a better quality of life. If you're not in our area, you can tune in at 10:45 a.m. The Sunday sermon goes live. I truly am thankful for all of you who tune in around the globe and those of you who tune in the U.S. and whatever time zone you're in. We thank you for your continued support and for your commitment to the broadcast. Both the Sunday sermon on Sundays and 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you,